Hey, so today I'm going to be talking about, does your song need chords? Now, I've recently rewritten one of my songs and basically went in something I'd recorded the vocals over a guitar loop that I found, some guitar chords basically in a garage band. Now, you hear it playing behind me, it's called Colours of War. But basically what I did is I took away the chords, the guitar chords that it was playing, just three basic chords, the 1, 4 and 5 major, and I kept the bass line in though to give it some kind of structure, if you like, harmonic structure. But then I put in some different loops which I found in GarageBand, like some piano, some synth and some strings, and basically the result was that my song was sort of less harmonious but was still cohesive. So I thought this was a very interesting question. You know, do songs nowadays or throughout history and culturally, do you need chords in themselves? Whether it's, you know, mainly the two origins of those would be perhaps guitar and piano, and this got me thinking, you know, a little bit about sort of, you know, like I say, the history and the cultural aspect. You know, you look at perhaps more music of black origin, shall we say, like rap, R&B, hip hop, and you look at that music and you think, you know, they probably are considered less harmony, you know, seem to have less chords on that type of music in general. I'm making a sweeping statement here, but, you know, I mean, just to illustrate my point, I mean, you look at two albums that I listened to a lot in my formative years. One was Dr. Dre's 2001 album, released in the late 90s, 99 I think, and there's a real mix on that album actually of songs that either have some harmony on them, with like a few strings or a bit of piano or whatever, and some that don't have much harmony on them at all, just maybe a riff or something, and then a beat, and then obviously Dre always and his collaborators rapping over the top. So that was really interesting. And also another album from my formative years that I listened a lot to was The Streets. His debut album, Original Pirate Material. Again, there's several tracks on there, some of which are based around, have like some basic string riffs as well that give it a bit of harmonious structure, but some that don't have much harmony structure at all, no, sort of a lack of chords, if you like, but the songs are still cohesive, and, you know, that's really driven by the beat and maybe a bit of bass or a riff and the vocal as well, whether it's a rap or someone singing, you know. So, you know, and again, this really got me sort of thinking about, you know, the history of it all, and you think sort of music of you know, that's generally considered of black culture, you're thinking sort of going back to what originally I guess would be African music. And of course the first thing, I don't think it's naive to think, I think the first thing you would think of then is like African drums, because that's where, you know, we get a lot of really rich drum music. And but there was also, I had to look this up actually, but there were stringed instruments going back several centuries in African culture as well. The kora was one, K-O-R-A. So, you know, it's not as clear cut as saying, oh, music that has more drum and bass in it is of all of African origin, because, say, it does have its harmonious structure as well coming through. But then you think, like, historically, culturally, sort of Western folk music tends to be based around sort of the guitar and the banjo. You think of Appalachian folk and Scottish and Irish folk as well, going back over the centuries. Those types of the type of music that has its roots in that pond is more harmonious and chord like, where you have obviously, you know, the guitar generally and the piano coming in over the centuries as well. So, but then this even gets me thinking even more about sort of, because it's not as clear cut as that, obviously, as I've, you know, already stated already. But another reason why it's not so clear cut, you think of the origins of rock music, and you think of that as a guitar based music, and, you know, nowadays, well, lots of different people are doing it, but obviously the roots of rock music go back to the Delta blues, of course. Musicians such as, you know, Robert Johnson, Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, the real Delta blues, 12 bar blues, and the sort of the old black guy sat on his porch bemoaning, or he's down on his luck, and he's lost his woman, and can't get a job, and the real blues, the real meaning of blues that is. And obviously that was built around the guitar and around chords to start with. As to say that it's just 3 simple chords really to start with. So it's not clear cut, but it just gets me to ask myself, why do some songs have chords and some chords don't? Do you write songs which have chords in, or do you prefer to find other interesting ways of making music, like around riffs or loops or beats and other things? I'd love to hear a bit more about that, and what you think of my opinions. Am I talking of anything interest? Do you think I'm onto anything here, or do you think I'm talking garbage? Let me know. And I'd be really interested to hear if you're a musician, as I say, what songs you make, whether you use chords or whether you use a mixture of chords and beats and bass lines and vocal lines and raps and vocals as well. Because as I say, it all goes towards making a cohesive song, and that's really all a song is ultimately. I think if we could define what a song is, it's just a cohesive piece of music. Music the definition of music is for another day, I think. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Cheers, Ryan.